Do you have solo economic dependency? That is, if you aren't working, you aren't making money. The Art of Passive Income podcast is the solution. Discover passive income models so you can enjoy life on your own terms. Let freedom ring.
Hi, this is Mimi Schmidt, and welcome to the Roundtable podcast at the Land Geek. I'm here today with three great guys. Erik Peterson, the technician. How are you doing today, Erik?
I'm great. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's nice to see you. And Mike Zaino, how are you today?
Doing wonderful. How are you, Mimi?
Great. In your new office, it looks spiffy. It looks very nice.
Almost in the new office. This is a transition period here, but it looks okay.
And hi, Scott. How are you today? Love the new beard coming in.
Thank you. Yes, I'm warming up for Wisconsin winter. It's coming. So
it is coming. I think like the solstice was yesterday, something like that. It is officially fall now.
Not here in Tennessee. It doesn't feel that way here.
It was 90 yesterday here, but now I think that was our last day. You guys?
We've had weeks in the 90s. It's been warmer than it was all summer. It's been crazy.
Yeah, we've got a beautiful September here in the 80s mostly. So
you call that Indian summer nice. When it's hot like that?
Indian summer.
Indian summer, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So please have patience with me today, guys. This is the first time that I'm doing the podcast. But
phenomenal job.
Our topic today is worst advice. What is some of the worst advice that we have either gotten from fellow folks that are in the Land Geek business with us or on some of the other platforms like Facebook. So that's what we're going to get started with. Okay. So let's go around the same order. So Erik, what is some of the worst advice that you have gotten?
I think one that kind of speaks to me is just this idea of you need a website to sell land, or you need a website to get your business started, or anything along those lines. I mean, the reality is I have coached many students that never started with a website, didn't have a website probably their entire coaching period, and still sold lots and lots of land. Now, I will admit that I'm a bad example because my background being in graphic design, for me, it was super important to have a website from the beginning. And I did invest time in that. It wasn't the very first thing I did, but it was certainly early on. I spent a lot of time developing that and getting it, just the way I wanted it. But in doing that, I also learned that, the reality is it's not the best marketing tool you have. The platforms that we talk about for selling land, like Craigslist and Facebook and Landmodo and the other land selling websites, are far better places to be out there marketing your property than on your own website.
I agree with that. And I also think even when you get a website, don't go down a rabbit hole of hiring someone and spending a lot of money and effort expended into developing a website. A lot of platforms out there that are $40 a month, right? That you can pay, that are super easy to use. And I see a lot of folks get caught up in building websites too once they start that, and I think it's not the best use of their time.
Absolutely. It's a big place to waste a lot of time without a lot of results on the income side. So
I agree. How about you, Mike? What's some of the worst advice you've seen out there?
I'm thinking it's the advice some people silently give themselves, this whole idea of proof of concept. Like I want to get involved in land investing, and I'd like to learn from someone, say like Scott Todd in flight school or something like that, who's very successful. But before I do that, I want to have proof of concept. I want to know this works. So the danger, I think, in that is that, if people start making a mistake from the beginning, maybe with their mailing or maybe with their pricing, then the results are lackluster, which will create less action that they'll take in terms of executing more mailings. And then so slowly what happens is this whole thing just kind of slowly swirls downward to the point where they're not doing anything, and then they're off, like Mark always says, to ATM investing or something. So I believe if this is something that I always tell people that first and foremost, you hear about us, you hear about the land investing and you're like, wow, is that even real, right? Is that like, does this really exist? This idea of buying 25 cents on the dollar and then selling it for massive profit. Well, then there's a ton of, there's an overabundance of proof out there. Then you say, okay, well, who are these people, these land geek people? And now you got to know, like, and trust us, right? So you kind of, we've been around for a long time. There's a lot of proof of concept for what we do. We're just average people that follow the same business model. So if those two are aligned, right, and the business speaks to you, it's like, okay, how am I going to learn? And then it comes down to, what am I going to do? And I think that, we have this recipe in place, this flight school that works. But then people say, well, I'm going to hedge my bets. I'm going to try it on my own first and see if I get proof of concept. And this proof of concept is a dangerous thing, because if you're left to your own devices, your action may not be consistent. You may make common mistakes that we've all made, and that's going to cause you to take less actionable steps, and it's going to just spiral downward. So there are some people out there that have that massive entrepreneurial type mentality and spirit, and they can actually, but most people really would benefit from some sort of guided action like flight school. So I think that I would say the worst advice is the advice that a lot of people give themselves is, I like this, but I want proof of concept first.
That one really strikes me, because I think it's not only that advice you give yourself about proof of concept, that you need to see if you can do it. That's all the advice, just the self-confidence that sometimes, I see other people can do it, but can I do it myself? Right. That advice that I'm giving myself, and I completely agree. How many people that have we seen that have started that way and never gone anywhere? Right.
Right. It's unfortunate.
I always tell people, sure, do it. Try it yourself like that and give yourself a date, right? Go 60 days and see how far you get. And then think about where you could have been, had you gotten some help otherwise, right?
I think a definite timeline like that is very helpful. Say, okay, I'm going to if you're going to do it on your own, give yourself like, a month, 2 months, 3 months, give yourself a hard deadline, judge your progress, and then say, okay, well, maybe I should get some help. Maybe you're doing well, but that's a great idea.
Yeah, because I did that. I did the same thing, right? I went to boot camp at the end of April. By June, I'd signed up for coaching, because after 2 months, I hadn't gotten to where I would have liked to have, right? Anyway, that's a good one. How about you, Scott? What's some of the worst advice you've seen or gotten?
Trying to think back to my time starting up. I don't know if I got a lot of bad advice starting up. I got some good advice, and that was to, go into coaching, because Mark knows what he's talking about. But it seems like the longer we're in this now, and that there are more and more people doing this, it seems like these little things are popping up here and there that kind of go against the land geek model of things, that make me cringe a little bit. Back to the website thing, I've seen over and over that people need a land buying website. And to me, it just makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. When I can monitor things on the buy side with my telephone and an intake manager or whatnot, it just seems like that would definitely be a waste of resources getting started. The other thing is, I see some advice on mailings recently that in order to find a good area, you need to mail there first, and you need to mail in large volumes and figure out over time what look at the stats over time and see what deals you're getting out of that. And that really goes against our model too, because what do we teach people in flight school? We teach people start out with 20 a day and stagger your mailings and split test your mailings, split test your prices in different areas and that type of thing. And then as you start to get responses back, you can fine tune your offer. You can fine tune your knowledge in a particular area. And you don't need to send out thousands and thousands of mailers to find the right area. You can do very well with your county research. I would recommend spending hours and hours and hours on county research before you even send out any mailings. And then when you start sending out mailings, do them in a very deliberate fashion where you're kind of testing the market with those mailings. So it's just kind of things here and there that are popping up. And I think when it comes to the land geek model, we have overwhelming evidence that this works, as Mark says all the time. So if anybody has questions about, the market, our equation, how this works, just get in touch. We can we can put you in touch with a lot of people, excluding ourselves, who are doing really well in land investing.
Completely agree. I see so many coaching students that are buying land too high because they're not doing enough county research, right? Which puts them in a bad spot in their business, and then also drives up prices for the rest of us in the areas, right? So I see that. And then additionally, the way we teach the model is that, right, learn short, right? Like you were just saying, Scott, and that track your response rate. If you're getting a 5% response rate and you're able to buy 1%, one for every 100, that your pricing's good, and adjust otherwise. So I think you're completely right. And you can learn after a month of mailings at 20 a day, right? That's a couple hundred. And then you're not investing thousands of dollars to learn about that county. So I completely agree with you on that one. Gosh, some of the worst advice I've got just recently, this, that it has to be in markets where the land is 10 acres or greater. That is crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy to me. I mean, I bought quarter-acre lots in counties over and over again, 2.5 acre, 5 acre parcels, all different sizes. It just is so dependent upon the county that you're in and the kind of land that is there. So I thought that was kind of odd advice when I saw that earlier this week, but interesting. So yeah, just make sure that the advice that you're taking, I guess, just some advice from all of us is that make sure the advice that you're taking is from people who are actually in the business and doing it every day and sharing the kind of deals that they're doing, because they're in tune with the market and they know what's going on with the market, right? And can give you sound advice on this type of thing. Right? Another reminder, today's podcast is sponsored by Flight School. If you want to learn more, go to the Land Geek, www.thelandgeek/training. And another thing, Bootcamp is in a month. I think I'm so excited. I think it's like my 13th. I'm starting to lose track, but I
don't have enough fingers.
I know. I was actually watching a show yesterday. We read so many books about motivation that we share with each other. I watched this show, I need to find you the name, that Bill Gates did. It's a kind of documentary about him. And he takes a think week every year. He goes off to this dinky little cabin and just thinks and plans, thinks big picture about where he wants to go with his business or how to solve polio. He literally, I think there were 33 cases of polio in the world last year alone, because he's solving it with his the work that he's doing. And so that whole think week, it reminds me of Bootcamp. That's really my think week, right? I just do it 4 times a year, and it's not a week. Where I go in, I get away from the rest of my world, and I can come up with a plan, high level, on where I want to go with my business. So it's good enough for Bill Gates. It's good enough for us.
I thought of one other piece of advice that people often get that I would just, I guess, address real quickly. Mike and I talk to a lot of people on the phone, and I don't know why there's this notion out there that you need to, you need to get the toolkit first and then go to boot camp and then go to flight school, or you need to, go through flight school first and then go to boot camp, or, it's just kind of interesting. I think what I would just recommend to people is that boot camp is for everyone, no matter where you are in your stage of land investing. And for me, I think I've been to, 9 or 10 now. Every time I leave boot camp, I come away with something for my business. Mimi, you say this, and Matt Forbes says this, it gives you what you need when you need it. So if you're a newbie, you're going to get the things you need. If you're a year into this, you're going to get the things you need. And our coaching students definitely get the things they need in the VIP room. So don't be afraid to come to boot camp. There's no right or wrong time. Well, there's no wrong time. It's always the right time, in my opinion.
I agree, because a lot of times you hear things that you're not ready for yet. And it takes you to be farther down the road in your business for that. And it may be the second or third time you've seen it or heard it, but it strikes you differently because you're now ready on your journey. Because we all have our different journeys, right? In building our own businesses. I completely agree with that. Well, Erik, do you want to talk about featured targeted lists?
That was just in reference to what Scott was talking about earlier. You know, he was talking about having to mail, you know, maybe thousands of offers to a given county or something to determine, you know, what the buy price is, or if you can buy property there or whatever it is. Well, the reality is if you narrow down your list and target a certain area where you can determine the pricing very quickly with, you know, just like we were talking about, maybe a month worth of offers, maybe 2 weeks worth of offers. You can get into that data and determine where you need to be. So, I don't want to encourage anybody to send out thousands of offers, just blanket an area without really knowing what the market is and what you should be buying for.
Completely agree. Sound advice there. All right. Well, anything else, guys?
Who's got the tip of the week? Zaino?
Oh, tip of the week.
Well, I got a quote that relates to what we're talking about, if that's all right.
Fabulous. That's awesome.
No quotes allowed.
Let's see. I just had it right here. Today's quote comes from, where'd it go? Oh, Henry David Thoreau.
Ooh la la.
Ooh.
Says it's not enough to be busy. The question is, what are we busy about? And I think that relates because you're talking about, like Erik was talking about, building websites. I mean, you can be awful busy in the beginning doing things that aren't going to move the needle. And it's easy because you think, oh, I'm being very productive, but at what? It's something in the beginning, you just need to execute on the fundamentals. Get an area, get a list, scrub it, mail it. That's it. And all these other things that you can get really fancy over that aren't going to bring any, proof of concept. There it is to you, just stay extremely focused. And so it's not enough to be busy. It's what are you busy on?
That's a great quote.
Thank you, Thoreau. Good old Henry David.
And I love quote tips of the week. That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. So we ask that 3 favors of you guys. So please subscribe, rate, and review, and send your screenshot to supportthelandgeek.com and get the new free wholesaling course on how to double your money in 30 days or less, and the passive income launch kit. All right.
Nice.
Do you guys want to do that free?
We have to.
Yes, we have to.
Tradition.
Oh yeah.
You can make it better than ever.
1, 2, 3. Let
freedom ring.
That was pretty awesome, actually. Had a little echo to it.
You guys rock.
I thought it was good.
Maybe you did an incredible job.
Well, it's kind
Yeah.
of a surprise.
Yeah, we don't have any West Coasters on the call. We can't talk about what's for lunch. We've all had our lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We're rolling into evening. It's going to be a happy hour in another hour right here.
It's always happy hour in Wisconsin.
Yeah. Beer and cheese.
That's right.
Yeah, I bet.
Thanks, Mimi, for filling in. That was nice of you. I know you had a lot of prep time.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Well, nothing like learning on the fly.
That's right.
Trial by fire.
Trial by fire. That's right.
That's right.
All right, sweet. I'm excited to see you guys in boot camp.
Yeah, I am too. Should be fun.
Likewise, it's going to be here before we know it.
Yep, and I like that hotel. It's a nice hotel. Weather should be nice.
Yeah.
I think that time of year, isn't the heat break and it's going to be cool? No?
Yeah, it used to be we would do Scottsdale in August, right?
Yeah.
This is typically Florida.
So it should be nice.
Right?
It should be
Yeah.
nice then.
So this is a big change up. This is the first big change up, right? Wasn't it Florida this time last year?
Yeah, it's the first time we hadn't been to Florida in the fall, I guess.
Yeah. Now we just have to keep pushing to get the East Coast boot
We
camp.
should take a vote now on whether or not it should go to Florida. There's 4 of us here.
Oh, yeah.
We should definitely do that.
Florida.
Let's do it on the record. 1, 2, 3. Who wants the East Coast boot camp?
There we go.
I'll do it. I mean, it's about the same one way or the other for me. So
There you go.
I'm in.
Unanimous.
All the geeks agree.
All right. We'll let Danielle know.
Look at that. Massive action.
Gotta go. Let Danielle know.
I like this roundtable today. There's no meanness. Mark's always picking on Scott. Scott's always picking on Mark. And
yeah.
Well, you're always the favored one. What do you not like?
Oh, I don't know about that. I just get embarrassed.
I can't say anything either. You guys are always nice to me too. Yeah, it's unanimous. East Coast Bootcamp. We just have to decide now if it's going to be Florida or Atlanta.
Yeah.
We'll do one in both. We'll do one of each.
Oh, that's an even better
There we
idea.
go.
Right? That's a great idea. All the cats away.
Mark's calling us after this, I'm sure.
Does that mean we have to take away Texas? I don't know how Danielle's going to feel about that.
No, we don't want to take away Texas.
We don't want. Yeah.
We can't take away Vegas.
It's like only once a year we'll go to Scottsdale, once a year.
Yeah, that works. That's a plan.
Not that exciting. We have to go there twice. Come on.
Yeah.
Once a year.
I think that's a great plan. Any other changes we want to make while it's just...
Yeah, while we're here, we'll have a consensus.
While we're here.
That's what happens when you leave us in charge.
That's right.
Awesome.
Well, it's nice talking with you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Well,
All right.
Too, Mimi. Thanks for filling in.
Bye.
See you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Art of Passive Income podcast. Start your journey at www.thelandgeek.com and www.scotttodd.net. Rate and review the podcast and email support@thelandgeek.com. Your screenshot for a free passive income launch kit.